everybody, this is Max Pulcini with EverWash here for another wash operator spotlight. Today, I'm joined by one of our longest standing wash partners, Dan Armstrong from Vermont Lazer Wash. How you doing today, Dan?
I'm doing great.
So we want to just talk to you about your history as a car washer, your history with EverWash. But before then, let's let our listeners know a little bit more about you. So tell us a little bit more about you, where you're from, and what you're passionate about.
Okay, so my name's Dan Armstrong. I'm from Central Vermont, born and raised here. I went to school here, college here, everything right here in Vermont. So Vermont's kind of who I am. Um, Outside of car washing, my interests are pretty simple. I'm a Vermonter, so we're all pretty simple. We like craft beer. I like outdoor bike racing, obstacle course racing, things like that. Things are outdoors. Yeah, well, the probably the biggest accomplishment racing wise is completing a Spartan race trifecta. So it's three different races, and I did them all over the country. But that's probably the most impressive race thing I've done. I didn't do it as a competitive; it was just a finish to see if I could do it.
Right. So cool. So let's move on to your history in car washing a little bit. So how long have you been a car wash professional, and what kind of led you into this industry?
Okay, I've been in the car wash industry for about 16 years, I think, 15, 16 years. Um, I just kind of stumbled upon it. My business partner and cousin reached out one day and said, "Hey, we have an opportunity to buy a car wash." So we looked at it, and there was just something about car washing that just kind of like captured my interest. My background was in manufacturing and inventory management processes, theory of constraints, that kind of thing. And there's something about car washing that was really satisfying to see. There's a dirty car, and you need to figure out how to make it clean. And there was just something about that really captured me. And somehow I tricked a bank into giving me money. And 16 years later, here we are.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So tell us a little bit more about your wash. I mean, I know you're located
Yeah.
in Central Vermont, but kind of explain your operation to our listeners, and maybe something that's a bit interesting about your area or your clientele, something that you've learned.
Yeah, so our wash is a smaller tunnel. We're right in the capital, Montpelier, Vermont. We run all McNeil equipment, or well, NCS equipment now. Um, and it's a small family-run business. I started it with my cousin. We have one of our best friends came on board about a decade ago, and we're running it with friends and family. And it's a good time, just trying to make it work.
Tell us about your average customer. What's your average customer look like? What are they looking for in a clean car?
Really, they're just looking to get in and out quickly. They have a dirty car, they want a clean car, and how can you do it in an efficient way? And can we put a little smile on their face? That's important to us. You only get that interaction with a customer for 5 to 10 seconds, especially a member, because they're just they're in and out quick. But can you put a smile on their face? And that's really satisfying to try to get that angle. It's just I don't know. Vermont's its own thing. We're a little older here in Vermont. We wash a lot of pickup trucks, a lot of working class folks, along with Vermont's not known for being some high end fancy place. Just a lot of working folks just trying to get a clean car.
Nice, nice. Now, you mentioned a little earlier, you kind of like the maybe like the puzzle, the approach to
Yeah,
fixing to getting a dirty car clean, right?
yeah.
To that point, like what is it that you enjoy most about being a professional car washer? Is it that challenge? Is it the customer satisfaction in the end? What is it that gets you up out of bed every day?
The customer satisfaction is great. That's kind of just like the icing on top of the cake for me. But I really enjoy the process. I enjoy looking at the whole system and trying to find the waste, trying to find how to make it quicker. Can I eliminate a few steps? Can I find a correct chemical application? Can I move the brushes in a certain location so that we can improve throughput and get a better clean? There's just something about that puzzle that I do really enjoy.
Here's an interesting question for you. Doing this for as long as you have, how has the industry changed since you started working in it, and how has the customers kind of approach to car washing changed over that same time?
Yeah, well, I mean, for the first dozen or so years of operating, not a lot changed for us. We were just a family wash in Vermont, kind of on our own. We weren't near any other population centers. We just kind of made it up and found our own way of doing it. And obviously now the industry is just consolidating, and as fast as it can. So it's getting a little more difficult for the single operator to just get the equipment on time that you need, or from the big suppliers. So when you find a partner that is responsive and does the things you need, like EverWash is, it's just great. But yeah, that's the biggest change. It's just been that dynamic of consolidation. And when we started, there was no big national chains, and now they're all trying to compete and stomp on each other. And we're just trying to be in Vermont and have a simple Vermont lifestyle and wash cars. And for the customers, not a lot changed until memberships. And as soon as we introduced memberships with EverWash into the area, customers loved it. They jumped on board, and it just completely changed the wash pattern. So you went from seeing a customer a couple times a year to seeing them a couple times a week in some cases.
Wow.
You really get to develop a better relationship. We'll be at the grocery store, and you'll see all the cars in the parking lot that you're like, oh, they remember, they remember, they remember. And in the past, you just didn't see customers enough to see that. So I think that's been the big change for customers, is just their wash frequencies increased. Yeah.
That's awesome, and that's a perfect kind of transition point. You started, kind of teed off the whole membership discussion, which is where EverWash comes into play here. So, tell our audience a little bit about your history with EverWash. How did you hear about us? Where did you meet us? And kind of how did everything kick off?
Okay. Yeah, so we heard about EverWash in one of the Clean Scene magazines. My partners and I, we'd been talking for a couple years, wanting to get a membership program going. Didn't really know how, the cost to entry seemed really high. And then in that Clean Scene magazine, there's just a picture of the app. And it was just such a light bulb went off, where I almost was kicking myself going, why didn't I think of creating the app to do this? It was such a smart move. So we went to the Northeast Regional Car Wash Convention, and then I ran to the EverWash booth, and tried to meet with a couple of the other companies too, but EverWash obviously stood out, which is why we're with you. But I got to meet with you. You were there,
Yeah,
and Scott Kaplan, Frank. And so you guys just explained what you had for technology and that $0 barrier to entry. I walked away from that meeting. I went back to meet my partners, and I didn't even give them the option. I said, we're going with EverWash. And then we get the ball rolling.
that's awesome. And now we're 4 years later, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about how has EverWash helped transform your business and your life?
Yeah. Well, that's great. So EverWash has transformed everything about my car wash, my life, all of it really, because so when we started our first year washing cars, we only washed 21,000 cars total. And last year we washed 105,000.
Wow.
And it's completely due to EverWash. If you looked at our chart, we were pretty stagnated for a decade, just washing the same amount of cars. And then when membership started to grow and grow and grow and grow, and now it's just unbelievable, just washing cars all the time. That extra revenue has been just a game changer. We've hired more employees. We pay livable wages. We're able to provide healthcare to our employees.
Wow.
It's such a great feeling to know that you're impacting so many lives and making lives better, just for simply washing cars. It's great.
That's an amazing story. I mean, something like saying you can provide healthcare to your employees. That's literally life changing for not only yourself, but the people around you who you work with every day.
Absolutely.
That's really powerful stuff. Something interesting that you mentioned. Your wash count went way up, but so did your revenues, right? There's fear in the industry from some folks that, oh, membership just means you're washing more cars, you're cannibalizing your single wash visitors. As far as I'm aware, your single wash count actually went up in addition
Yeah.
to your membership, correct?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why don't you kind of go a little deeper into that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's a secret of the car wash industry, but it's one thing people that have been in car wash industry know from a long time is if you have a line of cars washing, that brings in more cars.
Right.
So having a membership program and just having a line of cars, as the rest of the people are driving by, they go, hey, what's going on there? Let me pull in. So yeah, our single wash counts grew. our memberships just far exceeded any wild expectations we had. Um, and all of it really is that it's that simplicity of having the app. It's so easy for customers. We just send them that text message, they download the app, they're up and running. Um, but yeah, that's kind of it. It's there's I don't I'm always confused when I talk to other owners who don't have a membership program, and they're always worried about, oh, my regular customers are going to turn into members, and I explain to them, yes, and then they turn into advertisements. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You just get more members, and they create more members. They refer their friends. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of wash operators who are still in the really old school mentality of worrying about, it's that old saying of what is it, stepping over nickels to pick up a dollar or something.
Right.
It's just whatever that saying is. I'm sure I'm getting it wrong, but they're just looking at it as an individual customer, and you can't look at it that way anymore. You have to look at the big picture and so the metric, we've thrown every metric out the window now. The only thing I care about is, do I have more members today than I had 1 year ago?
Right.
That's all that matters. We don't worry, is there too many Uber customers? Is there too many of this? None of that matters. It's just grow memberships. They create more members. It's amazing.
That's awesome. And you kind of already answered this a little bit, but if there was a wash operator out there that you were talking to and they were on the fence about not just membership in general, but going with a professionally managed membership program such as EverWash, what advice would you give them, having done this for quite a while now?
Yeah. Do it and do it fast. If you don't do it, your competitors are going to do it, and then you're going to get left in the dust. But the advantage of going with a company like EverWash is the back end. The fact that you guys manage all the customer service. If my member has a problem, they call EverWash. They hit the help button in the app. EverWash takes care of all of it. They take care of all the payment processing. They take care of all the recharges. I don't do any of that. I just wash cars. We sell memberships, but other than that, we're just doing the same thing we've always done. It's just wash cars. EverWash does everything else. They do the marketing for us, the sign generation. It's great having a partner. And I say this all the time to people when I talk to them, is EverWash legitimately is a partner. We all make money together. We grow members together. It's EverWash is the right company to do business with.
We really appreciate hearing that. We believe in, when you wash together, you win together. Creating those happy moments at every touch point, like you mentioned at the beginning, with not only our wash partners, but with the members, who are using the app itself and using your service. So we really appreciate those kind words, Dan. In closing, is there any other last minute recommendations or thoughts you want to leave our listeners with today?
Um, the only thing I could say is, if you really were on the fence with EverWash, just call and start talking to the guys. Whether you're talking to Mike or Frank, or you get lucky enough to get a hold of Max, Scott. I know all these guys by their first name. They're all in my phone. Everybody will pick up the phone call if you have a problem, if you have a question. They're just great people, and I really think that's what makes the difference. At our wash, it's the people makes the wash better. So our staff, our family, our friends, and it's the same thing with EverWash. It's just, you're not going to talk to somebody at EverWash and think that they're jerks. They're all just great, great guys. I've got a chance to hang with them at the car wash conventions. They're just really good people, and you won't regret it.
Well, right back at you, Dan. You're an awesome guy. You're an amazing wash partner to have, and wish nothing but the most success to you and your business moving forward. To 4 years past and many more to come.
Anymore. Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you so much for taking your time to speak with us today. Once again, this is Max Pulcini with Dan Armstrong from Vermont Laser Wash, signing off with another EverWash Wash Partner Spotlight. Have a good one, everybody.